It's all about the fleet that's racing. We can see good wind coming down the course. Should be fast to the gun.
Under a minute to go before the start of race number 2. It is official, so it looks like Canada will not be able to get back into this one. So it'll be 9 international teams, all fighting for first place and 10 points. Remember, Australia won the first one, Denmark, New Zealand, the top 3, and Canada finishing in 10th place. So that really opens things up. And Stevie, you look at teams like Spain, France, and the USA who had great starts. This is the opportunity we have to show that they learned something from race 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to replicate in these changeable conditions. We can see it looks like decent wind coming down the course. New Zealand and Australia, they're closer up towards the top of the top of our screen. That's where the wind's coming from. I think in these gusty conditions, you're putting yourself in a safer position being up there. Nathan Outridge on board New Zealand. He's trying to close the door on Australia, but will his timing? He looks a little early for me. He's going to struggle to be quick. Bottom of the line, Germany, but it's going to be Spain and Denmark here. How's the timing at the top of the line? Nathan Outridge spins the boat down to the start. Clear there. Who's the first on the foils? Diego Botín looks like he's got his timing right, and Spain are up and foiling, but Eric Heil, beautiful big gust of wind for Germany, and it's going to be a solid lead at Mark 1 for this young German crew.
First season for Germany SailGP, and Eric Heil, the 2-time Olympic bronze medalist, and it looks like he's going to get to Mark 1 first here in race number 2.
Good position. Spain are going to drive over the top. Outridge is going to be on the outside of the wheel on New Zealand here. It's going to be a tricky first manoeuvre for the Kiwis. Nikolai Seherstedt on the inside. He's well set for that first turn. As aggressive spin down by New Zealand. How well can Germany perform this first manoeuvre? To keep that hull out of the water. Oh, it looks like a nice manoeuvre for Germany, and they're going to have the first pick at the bottom here. They'll look to set up for a left turn. Happy times on board that German boat, and it's tight in the pack. Look how tight it is as France and Switzerland try and cut the corner on New Zealand and Spain.
All 3 lead boats there doing 60 kilometers an hour of boat speed downwind.
Every boat wants to take the left turn on the inside here. Switzerland, they've got the right of way on New Zealand. What an aggressive manoeuvre by Schneider. He's got to get out of there. Everyone trying to get out into that left turn. Australia slides through on the inside. He's got to be careful. France can turn whenever they want to towards him. And all the boats now are trying to find the optimum angle for the upwind leg as Great Britain, 9th place. They turn away from the fleet. And is it a Hail Mary already this early in the race from Giles Scott?
So Germany gives up that top position to Denmark. Nikolai Seherstedt setting to the right side of your screen. Then it's Germany, Spain, and then Switzerland, your top 4.
I think interesting here, look, none of the boats are really progressing up the ladder lines. The winds are sailing on very different angles on the left of our screen to the right of our screen. New Zealand and Denmark clearly like what they see on the right-hand side of the racetrack. It's the opposite side to the Australians liked on the one before, but who's picked it right? Who finds more wind in the next minute will be crucial.
Yeah, currently we're seeing the German team with 25 kilometers an hour of wind, while the Danish have slightly less, although it does seem to be building on that side of the course now.
So leg 3 of 7 in race number 2, with another race still to come. Canada not in this one. They have mechanical issues. Let's go down on the water. Lisa, what are you seeing, and do you like the split from either of these teams as they try to negotiate Genesis Island?
Well, I'm about 100 meters away from Denmark. They've just lost a lot of wind, but they're about to get into about 30 kilometers per hour of breeze. So they are going to hook into this beautifully. And Spain on the other side has really dropped off. So it will be really neck and neck here. It's so puffy, and the wind is actually really narrow. So the gusts are narrow. So you don't stay in them for a very long time. So you have to capitalize on it. I think it's going to be tight, but Germany should be just out in front.
All right, Stevie, building on what Lisa was just talking about, for definition purposes, what is the difference when she says puffy between when we hear shifty?
Puffy just means there's gusts of winds coming down. The strength is changing a lot, but what's shifty means the direction's changing. So we see right now Spain, look, they're nearly sailing straight up these ladder lines. They're progressing towards gate 3 really quickly. They've got a great shift in the wind. They're sailing less distance.
And the mode that the Danish are currently sailing, they're also having to sail this high, shorter distance, but for a different reason. If they try and bear away, sail a faster angle, they'll hit the rocks. So they've got to keep it nice and short distance here, but mostly out of a safety point of view.
Keeping it simple right now is Spain as they have the lead. They make an extra maneuver right there to opt to go to the other side of the course. And here comes Emirates GBR from 8th place now into 3rd. They're back in the game.
Hail Mary's come good for Giles Scott. He took the different split at the bottom of the course, found more wind. The brains trust of Hannah Mills and Giles Scott at the back of the British boat, while they've pulled it out of the bag when they needed it. They're going to turn right on their own, and they're back in the race.
Australia back into 4th place after winning the first race, and it is Giles Scott and Emirates GBR. They opt for the other side again. So staying away from friends and neighbors, and Giles Scott and the Brits now into 1st place.
Well, and a good comeback by Australia, great comeback by Emirates Great Britain, showing us in the lead at the moment. Nathan Outteridge on board the New Zealand boat back in 7th, but he looks like he's on the inside of Switzerland. Eric Heil hanging on there, but we can see how quickly things will change. And this section of the race now, this is your opportunity to make your move. Can you make some crucial overtakes? Because we're already halfway through this race.
Leg 4 of 7, race number 2, with one more still to come here on day number 1 of the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix.
And I liked on that last shot where Spain were, we can see it's light winds on board Emirates Great Britain. They're struggling to foil. Background, they look at Spain fly across our screen. Rockwell Denmark fly across our screen in more wind. Tom Slingsby's found wind as well. There's just more wind by Australia.
And a look at the bottom left of the screen here shows us a summary from the previous leg and how GBR managed to close that gap. Now, they weren't the fastest boat round the course, 54 kilometers an hour average boat speed, but look at the distance sailed, 0.57 compared to 0.74 for Spain.
Stevie, it just shows how quickly this can change. To your point and what Lisa's been reporting down the water, Emirates GBR was in 1st place. They have now dropped back to 4th, and look at the lead that Spain has taken. And just moments ago, we were talking about how Spain has had great starts over these last 2 races, but can they hold on to it for all 7 legs?
Well, that's true, but we've seen them win events. This Spanish crew with space, I think, can do that. I think what's interesting is that left-hand side of the screen, the top of our screen, left-hand side of the course, on average, that's been the place to be. That's where Emirates Great Britain made their game. So to turn right at the top was a surprising move, and they have lost out for that, but they're still in the match. 4th place is a good position. De La Pierre on board France, he's found good wind on this downwind. He's back in the race, and it's really tight. This last upwind leg, there could be huge opportunities.
Heading up.
Calm voices on board across the fleet right now as France makes the turn and they head back upwind.
It's interesting here. We see Emirates Great Britain manoeuvre, Australia manoeuvre, and Australia look quite well lined up for some wind on this upwind leg. As New Zealand, they're back in the pack. France, who's going to find the most breeze quickly here? I like where Tom Slingsby's positioned himself. He's not got the right of way. He will have to dip behind Spain, but he's sailing a great angle and he's sailing towards wind.
Across.
Yes, still H1.
Hey, you got 15 more pressure this way. Hey, stand by. Building.
Here we go, Australia are going to move in that dark patch of water. Expect a foiling manoeuvre from the Australians here. They should be able to stick this, and if they do stick it, they're going to have the right of way when they come back together with Spain. It's game on for Slingsby on the Australians, but right now, Botín is going fast.
Diego Botín, the winners of Los Angeles and Spain, looking for a 2nd victory here in season number 4. They currently sit in 5th place overall, coming off a 2nd place finish in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, a tight moment here. Australia have the right of way. Nicole van Verden called the cross. She says they're comfy ahead. I think she might have judged it right. Great call there, confident call, but I think we're going to need to see 2 more manoeuvres for Australia and potentially 3 for Spain, unless they can just creep round the top of Shark Island to make gate 5.
Some brilliant sailing here by the Spanish and Australians in these marginal conditions. They're showing the best foiling percentage throughout this race. Australia so far on 92% fly time compared to Spain at almost 89. that bottom number there shows the height that they're foiling at. So we can see Spain have now just dropped off the foils, but previously they were flying around at a meter above the water.
All kinds of data being generated here at SailGP, and that data is shared across the board with the coaches who are on shore feeding information to their teams. And right now it is Spain that has the lead, Australia second, Denmark in third. And Stevie, these are 3 of the 4 teams that finished in the top 4 in race number 1. So consistency, to your point, as you said earlier, is certainly showing.
Yeah, consistency is key. I think to the left turn at the top's consistently been good. So expect Australia to follow Spain. They do. Rockwool, Denmark are going to follow as well. And it's now advantage Botín, but Tom Slingsby, wow, he is absolutely breathing down the young Spanish crew's neck. We saw a bit of beef at the last event with Tom Slingsby calling the youngsters out, and Tom's back with a bang here on Sydney Harbour, and he's going to want to make a passing move if he can on this downwind leg. But yeah, Nikolai Seerstedt, calm movements, and in the pack, Eric Heil on board Germany, he has the right of way, but Quentin de la Pierre's got the inside. Can he sling that French boat inside the Germans? Oh, it's tight, no room in there for Germany. Germany must keep clear. Germany must keep clear. Wow, the Germans missed the mark. Oh, and this could be disaster for the German crew. Can they keep it upright? Just. Oh, indecision by Eric Heil there. Shut the door by de la Pierre. Dramatic moments, and the Germans are going to spin back through the gate. Huge loss for the German crew now.
So as that drama unfolds, it is still Spain and Australia in neck-and-neck battle here as we come up on the final mark. It'll be a left-hand turn and then a sprint to the finish line. It is Spain that has the lead, but the Aussies about 20-30 meters right behind.
That all got a bit sporty at the top there. Great work by Diego Botín, and they're going to sail across the front of the fans on Shark Island. It should be a victory here. Seerstedt consistent with the Danish. De la Pierre up to 4th, and Outridge hanging on in 5th, but what a race by the young Spanish crew.
And as they come to the line in race number 2, it is Spain that takes the victory. Australia holds on for 2nd. Denmark will claim 3rd.
Oh, it's a bit of action there, Tom.
I'll tell you what, but the moment of the race on the penultimate gate, Stevie, where everything seemed to go wrong for Germany. They came in hot. Quentin de la Pierre made it really difficult for him, and we'll see how that all shakes down.
Oh, and Switzerland, top of our screen there. They fall off the foils in a straight line. Big error by the young Swiss crew, and now can they re-accelerate and hold off the late charging British? They've dropped back from 2nd all the way back to 7th, but it looks like Great Britain might sneak. It's another big moment on board the Swiss boat. Wow, Nikolai Relais on board there, flight controller. It's a first day really for him flying this F50, and he's struggling in these gusty conditions. There, Emirates Great Britain, Luke Parkinson, one of the most experienced flight controllers, and big move back through the fleet, as we can see the younger crew struggling a little bit here in these gusty conditions.
Take a deep breath, as Emirates GBR at one time was in 1st place. They will finish in 6th. What a race here in Sydney. So Switzerland looking to hold on for 7th, but is it done as the Germans come flying in? Germany looking to pick up one more point. They're just going to run out of a little bit of Pacific Ocean here, and it will be Switzerland that holds on just for 7th place. The Germans take 8th, but Stevie, I got to think Eric Heil and company are happy to get out of that one unscathed. So 70 seconds away from the start of race number 4. It's day number 2. 7 boats out on the water. Great Britain not participating. Their boat is out there, but it has been rebranded as Japan SailGP as we now go under a minute.
So we're on the small wings, the 18-meter wings, and what we've seen on those wings is super high speeds at Mach 1. I expect the boats to go over 90 kilometers an hour as they arrive there. The other point to look at in this massive breeze is gate 2. It's very hard to round the boats up with these small wings. So 2 points to look out for: Mach 1 for the high speeds, gate 2 for a potential capsize.
Well, there we go, just 30 seconds to go to the start. The whole fleet pushing for that bottom end of the line. This is Nathan Outridge. We're on board Japan. That's the voice of Nathan Outridge, and he's just trying to control the lead back. The Japanese boat with good control. Chris Draper, 8 to kill. That means you're 8 seconds too early at the moment. Still going slow at the moment. Here they come. New Zealand gapping off towards the left. They're going to be very fast at the gun. How's the timing for Peter Burling and Blair Tuke at this top end of the line? Outridge and the Japanese turning down down, 2-1, watch for the lines. What a start by the Kiwi crew. 88 kilometres an hour, unbelievable speed. Can they control their F50 though? The hull's too high, they're right on the edge. It's bucking its way down to Mark 1.
An amazing start for the Kiwis as they head towards mark number 1. Here in race number 4, 7 boats on the water, 7 legs of racing here in Sydney.
There we go. First, go boys. That's the voice of Peter Burling on the New Zealand boat, talking to the big grinders at the front there. That wing sail's got to come in after the bear away. Brilliant work from the New Zealand crew there, and we're going to set up for the jibe here.
New Zealand were 30 kilometres an hour faster than anyone else when the gun went. That was a really nice time run off the top of the line by Burling and his Kiwi crew.
So maneuvers coming early for both the Kiwis, the Americans, and now Japan. And guys, this course is just shrinking because of the speeds. Look at the speeds of the Kiwis, topping more than 70 kilometers an hour.
As fast as they come into gate 2, New Zealand trying to keep it simple with a left turn coming up. They will lead here on the first round up. Watch out for the boats. Can they control the wing? Lovely turn up. Look at the grinders there. That's Josh Jr. Louis Sinclair working hard on the handles at the front of the boat, and Jimmy Spittle, Content de la Pierre, they've misjudged their turn to the mark. Look how slow they are. Just 20 kilometres an hour for the French. The back of the fleet's bunching up here, and it's the Spanish in last place at the moment. That is not good for Phil Robertson and his Spanish crew.
And Spittle might have got away with one there. He misjudged his lay line, had to do a jibe and a long reach in to the mark, but the French boat also misjudged their lay line, and they acted as a safety car, slowing up the rest of the fleet.
So Spithill looks to be recovering nicely here, guys. Freddie, Steve, I can ask you, is there a favorite side of the course today here for race number 4 early on day 2?
So I think it's similar to what we saw yesterday, Todd. The left has got more pressure as we look upwind, but the feature today is there is more choppy water, so harder to maneuver on that left-hand side. You can go into the lee of Shark Island, as New Zealand have done there, and do your manoeuvre in flatter water, but in less wind. That's the compromise.
Well, it's a windy race here, and we're watching on board the New Zealand boat here. That's the voice of Peter Burling you can hear. He's looking to sail to the boundary, 20 seconds away, so it's about getting the boat fast. I think there's plenty of wind all over the course for these crews today, and their outerage. Put the tack in. It looks like that new boat is going well for him, and Takahashi doing a nice job on the flight control on his birthday, of course, out here as we watch the Japanese boat now.
Interesting, isn't it? The two boats that are 1 and 2 at the moment, New Zealand and Japan, are 2 boats that need to have a good race 4 to step up the leaderboard in Sydney to make the final.
Well, yeah, we look at the results at the moment, we see that the Spanish crew of Phil Robertson has moved up to 5th, but Tom Slingsby, well, he looked comfortable, but he's having a bad race. This could turn things on their head at the moment. It's very gusty. You see the texture on the water there, the darker patches, that's more wind. Find more wind and you're going to sail faster, but looks to me like there's plenty of wind, generally speaking, everywhere. And Outridge and his Japanese crew have definitely closed the difference on Peter Burling, but as they turn away at gate 3, still in the lead is New Zealand and Peter Burling.
So gate 3 has the Kiwis out in front, Japan sitting in 2nd place, the Americans an early possible mistake, still in 3rd place, and it's France, Spain. Australia has moved up to 6 ahead of Denmark. The story of the day, guys, though, the start from the Kiwis as they've gone out there and the job that Nathan Outridge and the Japanese are doing on the borrowed boat.
There we go, that's the voice of Nathan Outridge talking about the board we see in the background. Peter Burling, but it's bearing away on board the American boat there. Jimmy Spittle. That's the voice of Paul Campbell-James. No lower, don't turn any further away from the wind here. We've got the right angle. It's tight at the back of the pack, but the boats are very much racing the course rather than racing each other. Calm voice is a key today on board the boats. Oh, it's a big splashdown for the Spanish there and Phil Robertson. A bit of a messy rounding, but you can see, look, we're on board. What a shot it is there. The water in the faces. Hard to see what's going on. It's a bit messy on board the Spanish boat today. Pressure back on them, leading overnight.
So Phil Robertson and crew, who looked so good yesterday, not having their best race here. They currently sit in 5th place, and this from a team yesterday, race 1 got a 1st. In the 2nd race, they did quite well, finishing in 2nd, and in the 3rd race, they finished in 3rd.
There we go, big round up here. Watch out for the New Zealand boat. Oh, it flew high there. Very difficult for Andy Maloney to keep the boat in the water. They've just kept the boat upright. That's the main thing. Time to set up.
Fair play to Josh Jr. there, the jib trimmer on board the Kiwi boat. He saw very early that they had a bit on with that roundup, and you saw the jib, the front sail flapping. So he completely depowered that front sail to get the boat back underneath the wing. Nice work, Josh Jr.
And look how fast the Americans are now coming in here to gate number 4, with the French right behind them in 4th.
Go hard. That's Paul Campbell-James talking to the grinders. Go hard, go hard. And we can see there another messy rounding by the French. They're struggling around here. They're still upright, still ahead of Tom Slingsby back in 5th. Not managing to make an impression just yet. But the Australian crew does look smooth around the course. And he is normally the main man when the breeze is up.
Just picking his way through the field again, the Australians. We saw in our pre-race analysis they were making lovely gains on the upwinds yesterday, and they're doing the same again today.
It's the head-to-head with the speeds here. Look down in the bottom corner there. New Zealand constantly seem to be sailing the boat at a faster, aggressive angle today. They're sailing fast, longer distance, but keeping the speed high. And if Peter Burling can find the gusts of wind, that's going to do them well. That's Peter Burling, the voice there, setting up for attack. Josh Jr. on the handles in front of us there. Olympian from Tokyo as well. And let's watch him spin into the tack here.
That's the one, fellas. Pete Burling liked that one, didn't he?
I like that one as well, Freddie Carr. Up on the foils, the boat going fast in this breeze. Well, they need to make something happen. They're on that yellow line. The yellow line is the lay line. That means they're lined up to make the next gate. No more manoeuvres for them. The next big moment for the New Zealand crew will be the bear away. Time to hold on to your hats before this final downwind sprint to the last turning mark.
So leg 5 of 7 as they come up on gate number 5. It is still the Kiwis out in front. Japan has not been able to close that gap, which is holding right around 170 meters. The Americans sitting in 3rd with a comfortable lead of 100 meters over France. Surprised to see Australia after yesterday's performance sitting back there in 5th.
And talking of yesterday's performance, the Kiwis had a very vanilla day yesterday, didn't they? Yachting around in the back half of the fleet. But if they can convert this 1st place with results currently where they are, they'd only be 3 points off making the final in Sydney.
That's an incredible turnaround. That nice jibe there. Here we are. We're on board the Japanese boat. What a comeback in a new boat this would be. Watch that board lock down. Outeridge watching it like a hawk. Board locks in place, starts the turn, and now we see Chris Draper, left side of the shot. He's steering the boat while Nathan crosses. It's real multitasking in this big breeze, and they're coming downwind here. It's fast. Whoa, is that a mistake by Burling? I think he might be missing turning mark 6 here. This could be an unforced error from the Kiwi crew. Let's see what happens. No, same for Outeridge. He's gone round the mark. I think this could be an error here.
So leg 6 of 7, the Kiwis seem to be still trying to sort it out. Now on the water, they bear away and realize the mistake.
Oh, I think there's a lot of confusion out here, Todd. They should have left that mark 6 to the left, as far as I understand. And at the moment, none of the crews seem too sure exactly what's happening. They're blasting off downwind. There's a lot of confusion, I've got to say. I believe they should have turned left and gone to the finish. We'll wait for confirmation on that. But as we see now, whatever happens, they're close. This is tight. Both boats on a knife edge. Oh, that's Burling there talking about the course being incorrect.
Okay, there was a bit of a glitch in the system there. The remaining course from where we are now in this battle is down to the bottom where they've gone round now, up to the windward mark, and then down to that Mark 1 mid course and a sprint to the finish. So just a little glitch out with our graphics.
Yep, no worries. So it stays the same, no harm, no foul, as Japan got messy there trying to sort things out. It is still the Kiwis in 1st place. Japan sits in 2nd, and the USA closed the gap a bit, sitting in 3rd.
Well, there we go. I'm glad I wasn't the only one confused during that. Burling also confused with what's going on the screen, but they've calmed it down. We've all resettled. I'm settled down again. Here we go, Burling talking about further up the course. He's saying when we get to the gate at the top, we need to be better at our bear away to be able to make it to the final turning mark in 1. So that's where these guys are thinking. They're already thinking to the top of this next leg. We can see on the ladder lines there, the arrows show they're moving up the course, and there's some 100-metre advantage for Burling at the moment. But right-hand side of screen, here comes Tom Slingsby on a charge. Slingsby and Spithill have closed the distance, and it's all on this last upwind leg before they're going to turn and blast away from the wind one last time.
And it is the Kiwis starting to pull away their lead over 100 meters over Nathan Outridge in Japan, as that speed once again approaches 57 kilometers an hour. So speed has been the friend of the Kiwis from the get-go. You guys saw them blast off the line, and here they are trying to close this one out and pick up a victory on race number 4, day 2 in Sydney.
You see there the race top speed, Todd, 89 kilometers an hour. That's nearly 48 knots in old money. Unbelievable speeds here, and that yellow line, that's the indication of the ley line. They'll expect attack from the Kiwis when we get close to that. Here they go, New Zealand tack. They should be lined up for the test. Now, Peter Burling said to us at the bottom of the course, we need a better bear away if we're going to make it down there in 1. Let's watch this bear away. High speed, high drama, but they need to be more accurate than the last time round.
Just quietly, Australia is chipping away up the leaderboard. They were 7th early on in the race. They're now up to 3rd, and that really changes the things in the race to the final. It puts a bit of a breathing gap between them and New Zealand, and that is the battle. You can see there, Australia on 21, New Zealand on 17. So by Australia chipping away in this race, they're making their lives quite a bit easier in the race to the final.
The defending champions on home waters, the Aussies now, trying to make the move and get those valuable points as they get ready for race number 5. But it is the Kiwis out in front, Japan close behind, and the Americans have gone back in front of the Aussies into 3rd.
Here we go. Could be the final jibe here for the New Zealand crew. They turn into a jibe. Board locks. There goes Burling in the background. Josh Junior's flying the boat there, look. Outridge follows, close jibe behind. How are they looking on the ley line for this final turning mark?
And Australia, and you can see Australia and America there coming in.
Here we go, tight manoeuvre. Burling needs to do 2 jibes. He has the rights to turn on the inside, but can Outridge get through here? It's going to be close. Outridge coming in a lot faster. 20 kilometers an hour of speed. Outridge tries to slide around the outside. Who can re-accelerate quickest? New Zealand must keep clear. New Zealand, oh, there's going to be a protest there. There's going to be a protest on that one.
Penalty New Zealand relative Japan. Penalty New Zealand relative Japan.
And they are going to drag race it to the line. The Kiwis have the lead, but waiting for the penalty, and it comes on the Kiwis, which will handle race 4 to the Japanese.
It's a birthday win for Leo Takahashi, Todd Harris. What a finish that was. Jimmy Spithill in 3rd, Tom Slingsby submarines through the finish line in 4th. What a finish. But hopefully they've got their game face back on. A 3rd was important, but I think they're going to want another top 3 before the end of the day.
Emily, give me a boat to watch here in the 3rd and final race of the day.
I think all eyes are going to be on France and USA again. They've had a really strong start to the day, and I think with this building breeze, that should continue, or at least I'd hope so, because that was brilliant racing to watch.
Really interesting here, Todd. 35 seconds to go. A lot of boats off the foils, and right now the wind looks quite light in under this headland, so it could be tricky to get back on the foils. We can see the darker patches of water at the bottom of our screen. Switzerland, they look like they're going to be really, really late here. Same for Spain, same for Denmark. Can Emirates GB find this gust of wind right in front of them? Look at that dark patch of water. When they hit that, they'll pop on the foils, but they're definitely late. 10 seconds to go. A lot of the boats out the back. France, Canada and Australia, well, they're foiling and they're going to be in good shape just in time for Emirates GB. But how's your timing, Phil Robertson? 3 seconds to go. Perfect from Phil Robertson. A big change in the wind there, Todd. No one reacted quick enough other than the Canadians. But Delapierre, he's right in the mix again, and it's going to be more of a boat speed race.
The calm voice of Phil Robertson in Canada's SailGP out in front. They take the big gust and they're around mark number 1 at more than 80 kilometers an hour. And look at the Aussies checking in at almost 90.
See that boundary, look, it's right there. It's only a few seconds away. It's really, really close down to gate 2. But a nice lead for the Canadians. They should be able to be smooth
this is the
here.
umpires. Boundary penalty, Canada.
Oh, unbelievable.
Right off the bat.
Oh, I'm surprised that was a boundary penalty. Unforced error by Phil. He's not going to be happy. Got to lose 20 metres here relative to the French.
So that'll
This is
handle.
the umpires. Boundary penalty, New Zealand. Boundary penalty, New
And the
Zealand.
Kiwis were right behind the Americans in 6th place, so the Americans will get a little more distance there. And here we go into gate number 2.
And look, the Canadians, they've got that boundary penalty. They sailed too much distance, opened the door for De La Pierre, and on the form he's on today, he's going to take it. The French are a little loose round there, but they're still out in front. Canadians stop in front of the
look at
Australians. Hard manoeuvre, the Aussies trying to get it back under control. Whoa, big water over the deck. That was the Canadians so slow in front of them, and that opens an opportunity for Emirates GBR, as we can see everyone getting really loose around gate 2.
So the lead that Canada and France had is now squandered as the rest of the field comes into view, and it's all tight racing quarters here in the 3rd and final race.
Another good maneuver by the French there. We're seeing out there it's really difficult to maneuver, especially those roundups at the gate. So it's about keeping that boat under control because it's so costly when you're going from 80 kilometers an hour to virtually 20. At the moment there, you can see Canada have really struggled with that fly time, 87% up on the foils. That's from some of their big crashes down there. Maneuvers are where they do seem to struggle a bit more than the other teams.
Going straight does not seem to be a problem for either of them, Stevie. It was the maneuvers. So is that attributed to the weather, and did a big gust hit them?
Yeah, I think it's all often, you know, the gust is the changing environment. It's just quite windy. Certainly at that bottom gate, they're struggling with to control these small wings here. They don't work quite as easily with the crews. And as we can see across there, it's an absolute strength test here of boat speed, and the Canadians are forcing the French to maneuver away first. Here we go. It's the voice of Chris Draper there. He says a lull on the bow. There's obviously some lighter patches in the wind. A wind shift towards the left will help Canada here, but how well can they all execute the manoeuvre? Canada have executed it pretty well, but that board's still in the water. It's taken a while to come up. Gain for Canada, lead change here, and that's all on the wind shift. The wind has rotated from the right to the left. Canada are to the left of France. Advantage Canada.
So for more on the conditions, we go to our version of the Wind Whisper. Down on the water, here's Lisa Darmanin.
Well, it's changing every lap out here, Todd, so the teams are definitely having to adapt. The reason it's so tricky is because the difference between when it's windy and not so windy is about 20 kilometers per hour. So they're having to change how they're using the power. It's also the angle, so that's changing everything as well. It is really hard out here. It's definitely windier at, towards the harbour bridge, and it's gustier up to the top where they're heading right now to this gate.
Well, aggressive manoeuvre by Canada, but it's opened the door for France. De La Pierre through it. Canada must keep clear of the French in this situation, and a slight mistake by Phil Robertson there. Opened the door for De La Pierre. He's jumped right through it, as we can see Slingsby and Ainsley on board Australia and Emirates Great Britain. They're back in the game as well, as Contant De La Pierre, we've said this before, leads at gate 3.
And something going on with the Americans as they were sitting in 5th place. They have now dropped back to 7th. Emirates GBR has the right of way as they come in. They will pick up 3rd place ahead of the defending champions, Australia, who will slide back to 4th.
And when we think of the season as a whole, Todd, the French needed a big result. GBR needed a big result. And New Zealand, we thought they were comfy, but if they're getting another 6th and they find themselves in the pack at this event, they could be right back in the fight with Emirates GBR and the French for that place in the podium race in San Francisco.
This is the umpires. Penalty Canada relative France. Windward boat not keeping clear.
2nd penalty to Canada in 3 legs. Craig Mitchell, the chief umpire, with a busy day here on this 3rd and final race.
These are some really costly mistakes that the Canadians are making because they're actually sailing really well. Their average speed is about 52 kilometers an hour, but they're sailing significantly less distance than the other teams, suggesting that they're on the right side of a lot of these shifts. While GBR typically are sailing quite fast, so but a lot more distant, so sailing for pressure rather than the right wind shift.
Well, there you go, still not struggling to scrub that penalty there, and that's going to open the door for France and also Emirates, Great Britain. They're coming back fast. Expect them to be right in the mix when we get down to gate 4. It's advantage France at the moment, but it's going to be really tight as we approach gate 4.
How about some props to Denmark? Nikolai Sehested, their speeds, they were approaching 90 kilometers an hour just a moment ago. And this is a tight race, the third and final race. And here we go. It's going to get a little fruity.
Great Britain have the right of way here, Todd. France have got to judge this. It's so tight across. I think he's clear ahead. Wow, both boats scrape across in front of Great Britain. That was so tight. There's going to be a protest. Oh, Ainsley, he's going to get really slow here. I'm surprised they've gone for that move. Does get himself some space, though, but he's lost a lot of distance doing it.
So one hole into the water as Emirates GBR slows way down. Look at their speeds.
He fell off the foil, Todd. They needed to really do an earlier turn in front of the French and head towards the left turn. And they've lost a lot of speed, as have Australia. New Zealand, well, they need a big result here. They could do with overtaking at least 2 boats on this upwind leg to put themselves in with a hunt at the final tomorrow. But out in front, well, France look pretty good, although it is lighter winds where they are right now versus Great Britain. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out on the leg.
Like 5 of 7. They'll head to the top of the course, they'll come back down, and then the sprint to the finish. It is France, Canada, and Great Britain. And it is the French who have won the first 2 races right now that seem to have found a home here in Sydney Harbour.
Good comeback by the British. They've got the boat going, but you can see the wind has rotated to the right, so that the French are sailing up the ladder board, and they were to the right of Great Britain. Now, my worry would be, if it's gone right, the next move's probably going to be for it to go left. So where Great Britain heading, I don't think that's good news for them. It should be good news for France and Canada, but it's a match race. Look at these two. France and Canada absolutely locked horns, identical turns.
So who does it cleaner?
Well, probably advantage France if we're judging the manoeuvres there. 2 pretty good manoeuvres, and the French have stretched, but that slight loss has given Emirates GBR a chance to get back in the game. Still behind here, but Ainsley, he's on the hunt as we approach this final gate leg. 5 of 6, not a lot of time left on.
Wind speed on course right around 37 kilometers an hour. It is France, Canada, Great Britain, Denmark, the USA top 5.
This is good action. There's so many manoeuvres having to go in. This is testing the crew work, testing the fitness of those big grinders at the front of the boat there. As we see in the background, USA has to dive behind Peter Burling on New Zealand. Oh, it's really tight, but Australia, they've dropped to 7th here, Todd. This is all happening, and all that means is good news for France, good news for Canada.
Canada briefly off the foils there. That's going to cost them. That might put Emirates GBR across them here on this cross now.
Right of way with Canada. Emirates must be confident they're clear ahead here. He is clear ahead, but I'm surprised he hasn't turned the boat yet. To me, he sailed a little bit wide. That could open the door for Canada to get up through this gate ahead of them. It's going to be tight on the way down. France, though, look at that, opening the gap, nearly 200 meters ahead. Could be 3 from 3 here, Todd.
Quentin Delapierre makes the turn around gate number 5 on this 3rd and final race. The winners of the first 2, and more importantly, in the overall through 8 events, France is 1 point back of 3rd place Emirates GBR. So a win here in Australia would be huge for them.
Canada miss it. They don't make it to the gate. It's going to be a big loss for the Canadians. Big mistake misjudging that ley line. Emirates GBR round the outside. Rockwell Denmark round the outside. And this will open the door for the New Zealand crew to come charging back at Canada as well. They're still off the foils. Here comes New Zealand. Oh, big mistake, Todd. Look at the distance lost.
Look at that. From 2nd to 5th on the last leg, the penultimate leg, I should say. And look at the lead now as France and Quentin Delapierre seems to be at home here in the Sydney Harbour despite the changing conditions, despite the shifts. It is Quentin Delapierre that has been the most consistent sailor throughout the day, winning race 1, winning race 2, and on his way to winning a 3rd consecutive race.
Great manoeuvres there for the French. They had to do 2 quick turns, as did Emirates Great Britain, and that, they've managed to pull that off. This is a good final race for Emirates, as Denmark, well, they seem to just keep themselves in the hunt, the Danish. They're looking like they could get a good position here.
And the win will indeed go to the French as they make it 3 for 3 in Sydney.
What a day for the French. That's got to be their best ever day.
Second place, Emirates, Great Britain. They'll grab that, and they need those points after a disappointing first race where they finished at 6th and a 6th in the second race as well.
Some redemption here for the Danish team, taking a 3rd as well.
Nice bounce back for the Aussies.
Yeah, good comeback there by the New Zealand boat as well. They're going to cross the line in 4th here as we come in, and Jimmy Spithill, well, I think he'll probably be happy with a 5th. Good day for the US team there, and it's going to be tight on this leaderboard though as we go in tomorrow. Tight for everyone other than the French. Quentin de la Pierre, well, he's had a real day for it. Good solid day for the USA. Australia, well, he's going to want to get his boat checked because that Australian boat's not working as they're used to it working. Yeah,
3, 4, and a 6 for the Aussies. They are the defending champions of this event from last year. Not the first day they were looking for. We know the magic that Tom Slingsby and his crew could turn on the final day, Championship Sunday. And here's Canada. They were sitting, we're talking 10 minutes ago, they were sitting in 2nd place, threatening for 1st.
Yeah, look at the angle they're sailing from that last mark there, Todd. Something's gone seriously wrong with that Canadian boat in the last bit. I don't know if there's a system issue or what it is, or they got rattled.
So here we go. All 10 boats of the fleet are ready to go. Mechanical problems worked out, and Stevie, the conditions could not be much better as everyone gets themselves into a very tight and tricky start box.
Yeah, I think if Lisa had been able to speak to us, then she'd have told us we've got a fantastic bit of breeze. We've got the bigger foils. We've got the 24-metre wing with the big jib. So we've got maximum horsepower on the boats out there on the water today. Good for setting up for foiling. But the race course is a little bit more steady, a little bit more sailable. So it's going to be about accuracy. It's going to be tight racing. And look at the fleet gathering towards the right-hand side of the screen there. Switzerland, USA leading the fleet back. Australia way out the back at the moment as New Zealand charge towards the line. It feels like people might be a little late. Certainly Germany look a little late on parade, but it's all about how well they've judged that timing now. Germany spin the boat at the bottom of the line. USA towards the top of the line. Australia, France and Spain look late. We're looking for this line to turn white, and we're going to be go in Sydney for race 4 on Sunday. How's your timing at the top of the line? Great start by the USA, but it's Switzerland and Germany again with a fantastic start. 3 in a row for Eric Heil off the bottom of the line, and it's a drag race to Mark 1.
Coming up to mark number 1 of race number 4 here on Sunday. Germany on the inside line, but look at the speed that Switzerland has.
An aggressive move by New Zealand, forcing everyone wide, secures 3rd place. Fantastic from Eric Heil. And this boundary comes real fast coming in here. It's super closer to the fleet as we see New Zealand first to turn away. Germany in control of Switzerland, and it's all about accuracy of manoeuvres as the boats head off downwind. But look at this, USA are pushed wide and Australia are back in last place at the moment. No good for the hometown heroes right now.
Up there? No, not yet, yeah.
Remember, coming into today, it was Denmark and Australia tied on points. You need to be in the top 3 to get to that final.
Front 3 boats all doing over 60 kilometres an hour as they approach gate 2.
This is where we're going to learn a lot about the course, Todd. Of course, Shark Island yesterday was a real problem. Genesis Island, it's rebranded for this event, and that's off the top left of our screen. It's all about who can make the gain with minimum manoeuvres. It looks like Germany going to be able to turn left very easily, Switzerland turn right. Who is going to be the first boat to make the overtakes here as we see New Zealand coming in 3rd, but which way is going to favour? Will Switzerland gain sailing away from the wind shadow of Genesis Island, or will Germany gain by minimising manoeuvres heading that way? It's going to be interesting. We're going to learn a lot about the course in the next 60 or 90 seconds.
Elevated heart rates here on the first race. We've got one more fleet race coming up after this one, and then the fleet is cut to only the top 3.
Already we're seeing slightly less pressure on the right-hand side, top of the screen where Germany are. They're down in 18 to 20 kilometres now of pressure, while Switzerland have had up to 23 at the bottom of the screen.
But it's tight. Germany has the right of way. Switzerland needs to be assured their head. New Zealand are getting sucked back into the pack here. Outridge had to dip away, but it's Germany. Well, it's all pretty even. Not a lot in that at the bottom of the course there. Switzerland are out in front. What a great moment for this Swiss crew to be leading away, and they've now got control of the the racecourse, and they again look to turn the boat. None of the fleet want to seem to get stuck in what I imagine is the wind shadow of Genesis Island. It's great to have all the fans there, but it's not helping the wind for the fleet. As we see, look at the fleet congested on this boundary. They're over here looking for more wind. As we see a close moment with Great Britain and Canada, that looked like Canada pushed that a bit tight to me.
So a time to shine as you see the ride heights on the left-hand side. That's all about foiling. How high out of the water, Stevie, as we know, the higher you fly, the more unstable the boat is.
Well, it's more unstable, Todd, the higher you fly it out of the water, but there's less boat, there's less foil in the water, there's less drag. If you minimise drag, you're going to go faster. So, yeah, you're racing on the edge, but you've got to be going a little bit quicker.
So the optimum number we're looking for there is around 1 metre. So it's on the limit, but it's quick.
Tight moment there. Germany had to keep clear of Switzerland, but right now Germany are going to be sailing a faster mode. Switzerland are going to be struggling, potentially getting into the dirty wind of Germany, and the right of way is now with Germany. Germany can turn whenever they want to, and Switzerland will need to keep clear. It's really tight in the pack out here today.
So the disturbed air coming off of Germany slowing down Switzerland, and off the right-hand side there you see Emirates GBR. They need a big performance here, although they're probably not going to make the top 3.
No, we have to
Conversation on board Switzerland. They're talking about when Germany manoeuvres, Germany will have the right of way. Switzerland will have to keep clear. Seb Schneider thinks he's going to go behind him. Here we go. Tight cross coming up. It's going to be real close. Switzerland spin the boat away from the wind, hoping to make the right turn. Germany's turning left, and I think that left turn probably is going to be favoured. Germany are sailing back towards more wind, and it's going to be a really tight upwind leg. Look at that, nothing in it on that upwind leg. As New Zealand fight their way back to third, they look to turn left as well.
And the race to the final is on. Currently, we're still seeing the same top 3 teams, Denmark, New Zealand and Australia. France still have some work to do if they want to make it into that final.
Oh, heartbreaker for France, Stevie. This has got to be, what, the 3rd race in a row where they're going to maybe just miss out by mere points?
Yeah, there are a few points back at the moment, Todd, for sure. It's been a bit of a tough break for them, but it's interesting how tight. The wind's a lot steadier today, and the fleet is so congested right now. It's really, really tight. When you're back in this pack, the wind's disturbed, your tactical decision-making is really compromised. If you've got less wind, it's hard to go as fast out there. As we see, it looks like a gain to Germany at the moment, but they're going to, when they manoeuvre back towards Switzerland, it's going to be Switzerland with the right of way. Crucial moment for the German crew here.
On leg 4 of 7, race number 4, the first race of Sunday, we've reconnected with Lisa Darmana down on the water. Lisa, what are you seeing, and more importantly, what are you hearing as far as the forecast?
Well, the forecast wasn't looking good, but I can tell you we've got more than we were promised. So I think all the sailors are pretty happy. We've got these 24-metre all-purpose wings and light air boards, so nice big foils for them to try execute the foiling manoeuvres. We don't know if it's going to increase or not. I'm definitely hopeful, but it is really gusty out here, and you've got to be careful not to get trapped under too many headlands and get in light breeze. But yeah, what a race course. It's going to be so tight out here, and I think it's anyone's game, really.
At gate number 4, it is Germany, the first to make the turn. Switzerland sits in 2nd, and New Zealand with Nathan Outeridge filling in for Pete Burling currently in 3rd. Denmark in 4th. Remember, they're tied on the overall right now. And then you have Emirates GBR and the Aussies in 6th.
Really interesting, as we saw coming in there. New Zealand chose to go behind Switzerland, and a lot of the boats back in the fleet are trying to minimise the number of manoeuvres they do. Every time you turn the boat, be it through the wind, up into the wind, whatever it is, you lose distance. So it's a guaranteed loss when you do that.
And we've just seen Germany there drop off the foils in that manoeuvre. They're back up in foiling now, but that's crucial meters lost when they're trying to hold on to the lead.
Stevie, one thing I've noticed, I think, over this season especially is there's a lot of teams that can get the lead. They can get the whole shot. They can get to mark one first and hold on. It's the teams that can maintain that and stay out in front, because then you see the guys like Tom Slingsby and Nikolai Sehested and, Pete Burling. They're going to come through and they'll find a way to get around you.
Yeah, and it's just the accuracy of the manoeuvres. We saw the United States, their new crew, they're learning on the job, but they fell off the foils. They're hemorrhaging a lot of meters, and when you're in the pack and you're compromised, it's hard to sail the boat as smoothly as this. Look how high the hull of that German boat's flying out the water. They're just doing a fantastic job, but that's because there's no one in their way. There's no one compromising what they do out there on the water. and that just means it's a lot easier. Once you're back in the pack, your decisions are affected, the way you sail the boat's compromised, and if you haven't got that experience, it's hard to be as smooth as that. Near perfect tack from Germany there. New crew, they looked a bit messy yesterday, but put them out in front. They do a great job, Todd.
Well, don't want to give him the announcer jinx, but this would be the first win in SailGP history for the German team. Remember, this is their first season competing, so a huge victory on a very tricky course, Stevie. Remember, we've gone away from light winds to very heavy winds.
And just look at this performance by Germany. 100% fly time, the only team to stay up in the foils for this entire race.
So can they maintain it through all 7 legs here of race number 4? They've got a sizable lead of over 150 meters. Remember, another fleet race still to come with numbers being crunched. And right now, it looks like it could be Australia, New Zealand, and Denmark in the event final to close things out here in Australia.
Well, it's tight, and right now the German crew are sailing a near faultless race. We said staying on the foils, that's great, but they've had 3 fantastic starts in a row, and this is a really solid performance. Again, setting up for the left turn, that's definitely a feature that we're seeing coming away. Top of our screen, that's a bay in there, there's less wind, and Germany, now they've got to be careful. New Zealand are entitled to room to turn inside here. Germany have to give New Zealand room. Are they clear ahead? I think it's tight. I think they're ahead, but don't be surprised for Nathan Aldridge. He's going to press the button and he's going to ask the question of Craig Mitchell there. Germany had to give him room. That's going to go to the umpires.
Did someone flag it?
Nathan Aldridge there, he's saying, did someone flag it? He's saying, did someone press the protest button? Liv Mackay, she's at the back, strategist, hit the protest button, and we'll expect to hear something from the umpires on that decision.
Or not. 2-time Olympic bronze medalist Eric Heil of Germany takes a chance there. An aggressive move by Nathan Aldridge as he comes in hot, and so far no penalty issued as they are now at mark number 6, and now it is a sprint to the finish.
Yeah, we just heard from Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell that it was very, very close, but it's been given a clear green flag, so great sigh of relief for Eric Heil and the German crew, and it's now just a sprint across there. Perfect execution, they pushed the limit and they're going to get their reward.
So history in the making on day 2 at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney, winning race number 4 and picking up their first win. It's Germany SailGP taking the victory in Sydney Harbour. The mission's simple. Be in the top 3 points overall after 5 races so you can race in the championship race, and it will be quite a field. Spain looks good, the USA looks good, and then Australia and Japan, guys, it's going to be a little dicey.
Yeah, so I think Japan have got to win this race. They won the last race. We know they can do it. They've got to win this race, and they've really got to hope that either the USA or Australia are in the back 2 boats, and that will leapfrog them into the final, which would be quite the story.
Gotta say, I really did not see that being a situation with the Japanese. Incredible recovery. That's the 1 minute to go to the start. Here's the fleet, all a little bit bunched together. Burling to the left of screen again on the New Zealand boat. He's holding away. We can see those dark patches of water. They're big gusts of wind. You want to find those gusts once we're up and racing, but for now, it's going to make it hard to judge this time and distance.
I'm looking at the breeze at Mark 1 here, Stevie. It looks light here in the start box, but there's a 41 km/h gust at Mark 1. There's going to be high speeds as they bear away.
Okay, 30 seconds to go there. A jump out of the water for the Japanese boat. The blue triangle, that's the favoured pole position on the start line. It's going to be tight here. France at the bottom end of the line look good, but at the moment, I think Nathan Aldridge is doing a good job of controlling. No gap this time for Burling, who's trying to come in from behind, and Tom Slingsby doing a nice job. That's the voice of Slingsby we can hear calling the time. Just 8 seconds to go. They're all very close to the line here. Who's going to get the boat up to speed the quickest? Watch for the line to go wide. It's all clear. Burling diving through late here. Can he find a gap? I'm not sure the New Zealand boat will. And once again, the pressure's on for Nathan Aldridge and his Japanese crew, but they're in the box seat. They're going to turn down and watch them accelerate to Mark 1.
So at mark number 1, with a lot of points on the line, look at those speeds, dipping into 90 km/h, and it is Nathan Aldridge in Japan that gets the whole shot.
We could call him the wind whisperer, but I think he's the postman today because he's delivering at Mark 1 in every race. Fantastic start under pressure. Brilliant work by the Japanese boat.
And right now, with the Japanese leading and the USA in last, we do have the Japanese jumping up to second overall in Sydney and the USA dropping down to fourth. But things are going to change very quickly in the big breeze.
Watch them turn the jibe there, Freddie. There's gate 2, it's already on the screen. Have they got it up on the foils? New Zealand and
this
Denmark.
Is the umpires, penalty on Denmark, relative New Zealand, not giving room in the boundary.
And it's on Denmark, foul on New Zealand.
Denmark must get back behind New Zealand. It's watching to the left of the screen. America coming in. They're all going to look to turn left here. Spain's ley line looks good. It's tight between America and Slingsby. Wow, diving out of the way is Australia. And the Australians and the Americans are slowing each other down as Burling goes round the outside. And look, the Australians, 20 kilometres an hour, and they're in the water. This could be disaster for Tom Slingsby at the moment, and Japanese stretch away.
And now it's Tom Slingsby that drops to fourth overall. USA jump up to third, and Japan, where they are in first place, are second. Wow, things are changing quickly. We need to see the USA and Australia do their upwind magic that we saw yesterday.
Right turn's what we want,
Okay, so that's the Australian, that's Tom Slingsby they're talking about. He wants a right turn at the top of the course. They need to get going. Voice of Chris Draper on board Japan there, keeping things calm. Look at the race to the final here. It's so tight. I didn't really give the Japanese crew a chance before today, but backs to the wall. This team is doing a fantastic job here, and once again it's Japan and New Zealand in first and second. The hometown favourite Tom Slingsby, well, he's my favourite in these breeze. He loves the big breeze, but right now he is not loving it, and he's going to need to make something happen in the next 10 minutes or his place in the final is going to disappear from him.
Japan, Spain, New Zealand, the USA, the top four right now. Remember, they're all trying to earn enough points to go into the final race of the day, which will only be those 3 boats participating on course. And there is a lot of chaos out there, guys, right now. Look at the course. Where's the favorite spot, Stevie, Freddie? Where do you think they should be going?
You can see where the Japanese crew here are about to tack. There's more wind on this side of the course, and you can see the water's not looking as white. There's not patches of white water. The water's getting flatter, so you just want more wind, and I think more wind is on this left side where Nathan Outridge and his Japanese crew are. Look at the ride height there on the Japanese boat, constantly up above the water. There you can see they're not flying as high as yesterday because in this big wind, they need a little bit more margin for error, a little bit more safety. That's the voice of Chris Draper. He's talking here. They're talking about the setup for the bear away. Watch the boat accelerate, top of the mast, see the speed build here.
No problem, lock it in here. Angle, no deeper.
Look at that, over 80.
Unbelievable speeds here. So calm on board, and it's tight here. Burling sneaks around on New Zealand in second place, and it's Jimmy Spithill tries to dive inside the Spanish boat here. As they, it's going to be a penalty on Phil Robertson. Surely has to keep clear. He was a bit slow turning up. Look how slow they're getting. This could be the opportunity.
Penalty Spain.
And the penalty on Spain for not giving way to the USA, but has the damage been done because of the speed losses you saw in the background? Australia comes flying in.
There's a big story rumbling as well with Australia. Australia were in 7th and they're now up to 3rd. That takes them from 4th and that catapults them now up to 3rd. It is very, very dynamic in that 3rd spot.
Relative USA, windward boat not keeping clear.
And another penalty on Spain.
Well, there's a couple of match racing gurus there. First time we've really seen the Pitbull bite hard there, and he went hard after Phil Robertson.
Wow, we said before the race, Spain need to be top 5 to get into the final. Currently, they are 5th. Currently, they are 7th. Spain could drop to 4th, and they have dropped to 4th overall.
And meanwhile, Japan is running away with this race. They were sitting in 4th place. This is going to be huge for them if Nathan Outridge on board that SailGP GBR boat that has been rebranded can win this race. They will punch their ticket into the final.
Well, it's pretty much out of their hands now. It's about what can the Spanish do, but I've got to say, on his birthday, Leo Takahashi, what a job he's doing on flight control in this big breeze. They're stretching away. Look at that ladder line, 150 metres ahead. Just got to keep it calm on Japan.
Right, as it stands, USA 27, Australia 27, Spain 27, Japan 26. Hold on to your hats.
Well, that's right. It's all about the fine margins here. Japan can only stay ahead. Jimmy Spithill against Tom Slingsby. Can he get past Tom Slingsby and put him out of the final? It's tight at the back here. Look, Jimmy Spithill round the outside. He must give room to the Danish. He slides sideways, flies too high. Both boats fall off the foils and both boats are slow. It's dramatic stuff here as Nikolai Sehested on board the Danish boat. Will he be the fly in the ointment for Jimmy Spithill in this race?
Yes, yes, right now. He really, really could be. And by losing that place to Denmark momentarily, that dropped them out of the top 4.
Oh my word, everyone seems to want to have a bite of Jimmy Spithill, the pit bull, as it's Spain and Denmark first going at him. And Spithill saying, fellas, just let me run a clean race here. It's Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and the USA right now, 1 through 4.
We're only leg 5 of 9 as well. We're early on in this race. There's plenty of action left to do. If you're on board Japan, you just got to sail the boat smoothly. No mistakes, 245 metres ahead. And that's why Nathan Outridge can sound so calm. And what's going to happen at the back of the fleet? He needs a favour from either Denmark or France, relative Spain or USA, to get him in the final. It's tight, but it's out of Nathan Outridge's hands now. He just needs to sail smooth and calm, cross his fingers and see if it's his lucky day.
Exactly, and Japan and New Zealand have got enough of a step away on the rest of the fleet that you could kind of lock those 2 positions in, but Denmark is the key boat here. Denmark could overtake Australia and New Zealand, Australia, and knock them out of the final.
Interesting, the fly times, bottom left-hand side of the screen there. Look in this windy weather, these boats are on the edge. It's so hard to foil all the time. The number's only 50%, even for the best boat here. That's the voice of Nathan Outridge, talking about the wind. Get it settled, then we'll jibe. Watch them trying to manoeuvre here.
So Japan doing a masterful job right now, handling what they can and then leaving the rest to fate. And the rest of the fleet is New Zealand sits at 2nd, Australia and the USA now up to 4th place. So Denmark doing what they have to do as they keep 1 position ahead of Spain, keeping the Spanish at bay and hoping for points. And just like that, Spain goes back into 5th.
So close at the bear away here. Watch the Australians turning away. The points in the bottom left-hand corner show there's just 1 point in it.
And the battle is, the pressure is on Spithill and the American boat. They have got to keep the Danish, the Spanish and the French behind them. That really is the battle to get into the final 3.
Spain must keep clear of Denmark here. He's going to try and dip behind, shoot for a right turn. Calm work by Phil Robertson there, nicely done. And it is really, really tight at this point in the race. Anything can happen. 1 mistake now could be so costly. Blast downwind, and then we're going to have another tactical upwind leg where anything could happen.
So through gate number 5, you see Japan with the lead. They really can't do more than they've already done. The battle really is between Australia, USA, and Spain for those other positions into that final. But man, Phil Robertson has been all over this course as you get a look at the leading boat, Japan, 22 seconds ahead of New Zealand.
Oh, that's not good news for the Japanese and Nathan Outridge. That's somewhat tight, makes things a bit easier here, unfortunately for the Japanese crew. Good news for Australian, American and Spanish fans, though, as it puts them a little bit safer. Still a lap to go. Look at that, 93.4 kilometers an hour top speed. That's so close to 50 knots in old money. It's unbelievable, within 0.2 of a knot there. Burling on board the New Zealand boat, just setting up for attack, doing a great job.
So a score update: Spain 28, USA 27, Australia 27, Japan 26. So the battle here is about America keeping Spain behind them. If Spain overtake America, America drop out of the top 3. This is a big manoeuvre coming into Mark 6.
Eagle coming up. It's going to be 2 boards in for the United States here to try and get around the mark. No, they ditched the boat underwater. The gap tightens up. They decided to bail out of a technical manoeuvre there, and it's a slow turn for both boats. Who's going to get the boat up on the foils first? It's so tight. This final upwind leg of the race. Hardly any action left here. The Spanish need to make something happen as Paul Campbell-James, no rush, try and keep things calm.
The USA keeping the Spanish behind them here is massive, trying to get into the final in Sydney. It is massive in the overall grand scheme of things.
On board with Japan, out in front with a big lead. They're not a factor right now, though. Australia, New Zealand, the USA, and Spain, that's where the battle is to see who the top 3 will be to go into the final race of the day.
Interesting as well, looking ahead to this final, we see the wind speed out there, 31 kilometres an hour. It's gusty though. Look at the differences on the boats. Up to 2-3 kilometres an hour of different. It's big gusts. We see the dark patches of water, they're the gusts, the lighter patches, lighter wind. And right now, Tom Slingsby is chasing down this New Zealand crew of Peter Burling and Blair Tuke, Andy Maloney. They've sailed really well today, but can he keep Slingsby behind him? Or is Slingsby finding his form in perfect timing before this 3-boat final here on Sydney Harbour?
Gate number 7, it is still Japan out in front, Australia 2nd, New Zealand 3rd. The USA is just barely holding off Spain in 5th.
Really tight final, little downwind dart here to the turning mark. It's going to be an early jibe for Japan. Tom Slingsby wants an early jibe as well. Good comms here there. There's Jimmy Spittle out on the far side of the course. Tax on the ley line. He needs to stay ahead of the Spanish boat. Look at the ladder lines. That shows he's 50 metres behind at the moment. And, sorry, 50 metres ahead. Can Phil Robertson and his Spanish crew find a way past? Does he want to find a way past, or does he want Japan off the podium race here? And look at these boats diving downwind. Tom Slingsby, what a job, as Japan approach the final mark 8. A jibe here, a blast to the finish. Wow, the crews are having to work hard for this.
So it will be Japan on race number 5 with all kinds of drama that we never could have anticipated as they come through with a stellar performance, winning race number 4, and they will win race number 5 and then wait and see to what their fate will deliver them.
Well, the USA have just gone round the last windward mark just ahead of Spain. That is absolutely crucial.
It's unbelievable.
So the Australians now, guys, have moved into 2nd place ahead of New Zealand. So it'll be Japan, Australia, and New Zealand going 1, 2, and 3.
That was nice work indeed, as they say, great comeback. There's the battle though. Can Jimmy Spittle fend off Phil Robertson on the Spanish boat? He looks good at the moment. That's quite a big gap to be ahead here. It's going to come down to the jibe, but if there's no mistakes from Jimmy Spittle and his USA team, they're going to book their place in the final. It's going to be heartbreak for the Japanese. What a performance today, but it might not be enough despite 2 wins in 2 races in their borrowed boat.
I will. Stand by. George, come on, stand on. Go. 4, 3. They're going to round up here. 2.
They take it wide, they take it deliberate. Spain coming in. Looks like they're going to run out of real estate.
Here, Todd. Look, the Danish are diving inside the Spanish. Yes. This could be a point change here as well. This is going to tighten things up. Here comes Sehested from nowhere, pushing the Spanish back, but I don't think it's enough still. It's going to be just not enough. The Spanish will make the final, but my word, what a move by Sehested from nowhere.
Out of nowhere, Stevie, here comes Denmark.
You are right, Stevie. They lost that last place, but they just picked Japan into the final by 1 point.
Who said GCSE mathematics B grade wouldn't be important later in life?
All right, so Emily, with 1:20 to go now before the event final, what did you glean off of those interviews? Are we looking at a match race between Outeridge and Slingsby, and the Great Dane's going to slide in there and take the win?
No, I think we're going to have a three-way battle. It's easy to sell the Dane short because he doesn't come from the same Olympic background as these two, but he has heaps of experience. Both him and Tom Johnson have 2 laps of the planet under their belt. And I'll tell you what, it's not easy driving in the Southern Ocean, so I think Slingsby and Outeridge have their hands full dealing with him as well.
All right, final 50 seconds of preparation. Stevie, what's being talked about on the boat? And they've already made up their strategy of where they're going to want to be.
Totally different game now. It's a lot more space out here on the start line. We can already see the boats a lot further apart. I like the fact that Tom Slingsby was the last boat back and he's leading the fleet here. The rest of the day he's been behind the boats. He's been the one trying to find an opportunity, whereas now he's in control. But how's this battle going to work out? It is aggressive out here. They're all saying they're close to the top of the line. That means advantage Outeridge and New Zealand for me here. But it's all about hitting that red line. Down towards the bottom end of our screen is where our data tells us is the favourite place to start, and it's all about acceleration. Denmark look like they're going to be trapped out. They're going to miss the start here. Slingsby slut the door on him at the top, but it's all about the acceleration. Australia are going to be slow. Denmark are slow. Who's going to be on time? Oh, I think New Zealand are over early as well. Oh, what a start. What a mistake by all of the crews. What a mistake there. Australia early, New Zealand early. Denmark will lead at Mark 1. Oh, a huge error there. Now, how did Denmark play this? They're going to want to make sure they get to Mark 1 at top speed. No rush for Sehested here. No rush. Get the boat sailing fast and now send it down towards Mark 1 hard. It's going to be advantage Sehested when we get to Mark 1. He needs to get past New Zealand before New Zealand are clear to go. Australia are clear. They're out behind now. New Zealand are clear. We're up and racing with 3 boats as they come into Mark 1.
At mark number 1, it is the Great Dane and Rockwell, Denmark that take the lead. Pre-start penalties issued to the Kiwis and the Aussies.
Oh, they said they were hungry for a bit of risk. All 3 of them had way too much risk for breakfast on that start line, that is for sure. But now, advantage Sehested. Perfect first manoeuvre. He'll be lined up for this bottom gate, and it's all about the decision. Do you turn left or do you turn right at gate number 2?
There is no room for error out there. All 3 teams doing over 60 kilometers an hour, but these maneuvers are crucial. Look how close these teams are.
Full 7 legs here, the event final at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix in Sydney Harbour, and Denmark is gifted the lead at mark number 1. Now, can there be some overtaking, or can the Great Dane run away from the Kiwis and the Aussies?
Well, Denmark have got the first choice, and they're going to save a manoeuvre by going straight here. New Zealand and Australia are probably going to split away right. It's advantage for Australia. This is a tricky situation for New Zealand now. They're going to be following the Aussies. And, well, Denmark, expect them to head back towards the other 2 boats fairly soon. But it's advantage Denmark. That's a big lead at the bottom gate. And traditionally, that left turn has done pretty well here as New Zealand already come back towards this side of the course. And all the boats are trying to find their own clear wind.
It's a good moment here for the Danish. The breeze is slightly lighter on the top half of the screen, but only just.
Well, our ladder lines here, Todd, are showing actually a lead change and advantage Australia now. When they turn the boat here and head back across towards Denmark, the right of way is with the Danish, but it appears to be a gain early on the leg for the Aussies. But will it play out that way? Denmark's looked pretty fast there. Raz pushing the ride height really hard on board that Danish boat. They are ahead, but it's only very marginal, and there's plenty of race left here.
Leg 3 of 7, Denmark out in front as we go down on the water. Lisa Darmanin, in your unbiased opinion, whose position do you like the most?
I do like where Denmark is headed. That has traditionally been the right way to go. But, you know, there's so much going on here, boat-on-boat situations. New Zealand and Australia are in a battle here, but I think this is going to favour Denmark.
I think what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a few mistakes actually out there. There's definitely no one sailing the boat perfectly cleanly just yet. There's a nice lead for Sehested here. No surprise to say the Aussies aren't going away. Right of way is with Australia here. If it's tight, Sehested needs to be confident he's ahead. Katja down there, she's just coming up. She was watching the Australian boat to make sure that all's clear, and they are clear. So as we head up this leg, it's going to stay tight for the Australians right now. Stay in the match. Keep breathing down the neck of that Danish crew. Denmark have never won a final. They're going to feel that pressure, and the Aussies are going to keep plying it.
And at the moment, the Danish team do have the highest average speed, 51.1 kilometers an hour average, but that's only 1 km an hour faster than the Australians behind them.
Denmark are heading towards less wind up there. That water, look how glassy it looks up there compared to where Australia are. I think Slingsby's in better wind, and he's going to be on the inside coming into the gate at the top here. We know there's only going to be meters in it, but I feel like Denmark have put a lot of risk on themselves at the moment.
Then we can tack inside them, can't we? Go have a look.
You can, Tom. You can tack inside. It's going to be tight here. Tom's looking to set up for the left turn. The left turn's been favoured here. Watch for the Aussies to sling inside. And it's Slingsby. He's pushing it hard. He's got to manoeuvre out the Danish way here. That's really close. Maybe too close. Oh, that was really tight. What judgment by Slingsby. It's clear. No penalty there from the Australians. They judged that to perfection. What a move.
So Australia looking for their first win in Season 4. Will it come on home waters? It's Australia, Denmark, and New Zealand as they make their way through gate number 3.
The Danish just looked a little bit wobbly down there. It's really close. Now they're locked in. Now they're the hunter. Maybe a position Sehested's happier with here. But as we get towards the boundary here, Denmark, if they can get themselves inside, they might be able to force the Aussies to move first. And they do. Slingsby has to jibe away. He's turning the boat away from Denmark first. And Denmark are pushing as wide as possible on the racetrack. They want to try and make the next gate with no more manoeuvres.
So it's down to the bottom of the course, back up around Genesis Island, then halfway back down, and then it'll be the sprint to the finish and the title.
Yeah, and right now, where Slingsby's positioned himself, the wind's coming from the top left-hand corner of our screen, and Slingsby's going to slowly press the disturbed wind down onto the Danish, and if he can just move forward maybe 3 or 4 more meters, he'll start to really affect the breeze getting to the Danish.
This was just a moment ago. This was the mark where Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell did not penalize the Australians.
And they were comfy there. You can see there was probably a couple of meters in it. It was tight, but well, it should be tight, shouldn't it? It's supposed to be tight. It's supposed to be close. And Slingsby saw an opportunity and he bit their hand off for it. Look at that judgment on board the boat. As we see it, bottom right-hand corner of our screen, it's the Australians turning up to the upwind leg.
And we'll see if that turns out to be the move of the match. It's the Danes and the Australians splitting the course here. We'll see what Nathan Outridge and the Kiwis decide to do.
Look at that, 0 seconds in it at gate 4 as we're on the final upwind leg of the race. This will be decisive. Who's found the most wind at the bottom of the course?
Now we do have a flip-flop here from the previous bottom gate, with now the Danish going the left-hand side of the course, which did pay for the Australians on the previous.
Rockwool, Denmark, currently sitting in second place on the water. Australia out in front. Remember, this all started after pre-start penalties were issued to Australia and New Zealand, and the Great Dane Nikolai Sehested took advantage of it. Now he's in for the fight of his life as he goes head-to-head with Tom Slingsby.
Big mistake there. They turned too close to that red and white marker, and they had to do a slow manoeuvre. They're some 15 kilometres slower out of that, and look at that 100-metre loss in the blink of an eye. Unforced error. That's going to be costly for the Danish, and that could well hand the victory here to the hometown hero, Tom Slingsby. Just so much less pressure on the Aussies now. It was tight on that upwind leg before. There was nothing, but look at the fans there. Plenty of the locals wanting that, and right now Denmark, well, they're now fighting to hold on to second from New Zealand. One mistake and you get absolutely hammered for it.
Is there time for Denmark and New Zealand to catch the ruse, Stevie, or is this going to be a situation where they're going to have to rely on a Tom Slingsby mistake?
It's absolutely that. This is now only if the Australians make a mistake that they lose this from here. They've got total control. We know to the left-hand side of our screen there's better wind.
I wonder if we have to go back.
Yeah, there you go. Carl Langford wants to watch the boats behind. Slingsby's happy to split. Decision, slight disagreement there on board the Australian boat. But there you go. New Zealand starts to follow Australia. And what are Denmark going to do?
And turning.
So New Zealand makes the turn. Denmark now makes the turn as they all head to this last gate here at the top of the course. Lisa Darmanin, what are you seeing? What do you think is going to happen here in the final portions of this race?
I think it's quite tricky decision for Australia because they are going into lighter pressure compared to their competitors, but this means that they just do one turn and that they can head to that mark and they got one more drive to the finish. So it was really balancing pressure maneuvers, but compared to Denmark on the last lap, they've managed to have a really nice smooth ride through that light patch and stay on the foil. So I think they will have the commanding lead at the top here.
Look at this, here comes Denmark.
It's really tight, right of way with Australia, but if Denmark can get close to that circle, Sehested might have the opportunity to do exactly what Tom Slingsby did to him. Is Denmark going to try and sling it inside? No, he's not. He deems Australia to be too far ahead. There's going to be a split, but big advantage to the Australians as Nikolai Sehested chooses to follow. He yields. Oh, it's so tight though, Todd, here. Any mistake now, this is a one-mistake race. If Australia misses the next manoeuvre.
I'm crossing. Yeah, my wheel.
So was it checkmate for the Australians with one more to go? It'll be the Mark 6, and they'll make the sprint for the finish line. Trying to protect that inside line.
Just got to make sure they keep the speed in. They've got to judge the line to this final turning mark. As we see there, Mark 6, they've got to make sure they can do that. Will Sehested try and dive inside? I don't think Australia are going to make a mistake here. There you go, no, perfect from them. Carl Langford's happy with it, and he's putting that disturbed wind back onto Denmark. I don't see any passing lane from here, but what a comeback by Rockwool Denmark.
So now the sprint is on for the finish line in the title at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney, and it's Australia by a full boat length. They have finished in second, third, second, third, second, and seventh. But here on home waters, Tom Slingsby works his magic. Hocus pocus, Australia takes the win in Sydney.
Oh.
And the party begins on Genesis Island. Denmark finishes in second. New Zealand will take third.
Never in doubt, never in doubt. Well, that was a messy old start. What a race we had there. There was a lot of tension in that pre-start, a lot of mistakes during the race. But when it counts, Tom Slingsby and those Australians have got it done.